So in my last video, I made a theory. A game
theory.
theory. You guys have to be getting sick of that, aren't you? But I spoke about how we destroyed Clifford and there were no remaining major pieces of him left. However, Lester does mention
There'll be a copy of Clifford somewhere, right? Or a beta, repackaged, stripped for assets. He'll come back.
while I also said we do not know or hear anything of him since then, that was actually a lie. I did not know it was until I read my comments section, but Clifford is in fact still alive. We are going to be looking into Clifford's remaining existence and try to determine where he is and who can use him or is using him. If you like the content, make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video, and let's get into it. So, according to Agent ULP, who is a high-ranking member of the IAA, tells our online character in his missions, also known as the Paper Trail, states that, "Let me tell you something, Agent. This would never have happened on the agency's watch. Avon Hertz has been dead for nearly half a decade, his company dismembered, his assets seized, but oh no, not on the FIB's watch. They've been collecting leftover Clifford tech for years under the guise of national security, and all the time selling it to the highest bidder, Mason Duggan, of all the assholes who were going to bring this civilization to its knees." Now, before we dive into this quote, we do have to remember a few things. The first of which is that ULP will exaggerate the failure of the FIB to dispose of Clifford greater than it possibly is due to him being in a rival agency. 2. Clifford is not as strong as he once was due to being destroyed and split into pieces. And 3rd, Avon is dead. There is no doubt about it. So without the man who created him, Clifford is limited in his power and his growth. However, in this quote, he mentions that the FIB collected all of the leftover Clifford remains and sold them to the highest bidder, that being one Mason Duggan, the younger brother of Thornton Duggan, the current owner and operator of the Diamond Casino. Keep that in mind for later. The Duggans were using Clifford and his AI programming to jack up gas prices so they can make a higher profit. Obviously, this isn't good for anyone except for the beneficiaries, so ULP tasks our character with taking down the remains of Clifford. But we need to explore this quote a little longer. How in the world the FIB got their hands on Clifford? It was no secret about the many explosions, bombings, and highly noticeable vehicles and events that happened during the Doomsday Heist. One can only assume that a major government like the FIB would notice such activity. Once the events were over, I suspect they sent a search team to try and recover the body and any remains of what he had of Avon Hertz, who was worth $1 billion, thus finding the remains of Clifford. Once realizing what they had, the corrupt agents of the FIB got their hands on the code and sold it to the highest bidder, being Mason Duggan. Now it is important to remember who the Duggans are. They are arrogant, hypocritical, and money hungry. They would stop at nothing to make a profit, which includes the Diamond Casino. I suspect that Thornton Duggan realized he wasn't making as much money as he could with the Diamond Casino after all of our players have been robbing him multiple times a day. So he sent his younger brother out to find other profitable opportunities, eventually leading to his deal with the FIB for Clifford. So ULP assigns our player with the task of finding out if the Duggans have Clifford, and if so, taking back the code. So we do our investigation, which is the missions in Operation Paper Trail, and in the final mission, take the code back and kill Mason Duggan. We return the code to ULP and the IAA, and all is right with the world. Until you truly start to think about it. The IAA now has control of Clifford, one of, if not, the most powerful AI codes in the world that almost destroyed the world, actually. While the code is technically under the watch of ULP, that won't stop corrupt agents from taking it and selling it off like what the FIB did. Remember what I said about Agent 14 in my first video? Agent 14 is a gunrunner, makes illegal weapons, was involved in multiple heists and robberies, including the Doomsday Heist, has military and weapons connections, but more importantly is a member of the IAA, one of the two most powerful government entities in the United States. Keywords is corrupt and a runner. Do you also remember that he got onto the plane after us to meet with Faber? What if? Now hear me out, comment section. What if Agent 14 had Clifford in his pocket and made a secret and corrupt deal to sell it off to Mr. Faber? After all, Agent 14 is a high-ranking member of the IAA. It would have access to Clifford, and he is most certainly not above corruption. Once Faber has Clifford, or would have Clifford, what if he used it in the creation of our mansion? After all,
cover your eyes, chat.
Of these places, just
Who are you?
checking to see if everything is in order.
what if our AI is Clifford? What if he used Clifford to spy on us and snitch on us? Mr. Faber is most certainly not above doing such things. But I guess the only remaining question is why would Faber do this? The Clifford AI is a powerful tool, one that can manipulate gas prices, blow up the world, and track people who cannot be tracked. He is a more than valuable asset to have in your arsenal. I suspect with Agent 14 being a possible client of Mr. Faber, Faber found out about Clifford and asked Agent 14 for a deal to get it. But this still does not answer our question of why would he do this. Well, I suspect Faber did this. If he did, it is unconfirmed, but if he did do this, I suspect it is because of our work for Mr. Faber. In the Money Fronts DLC, you can complete work for Mr. Faber, and those jobs are not easy. One of which involves us robbing multiple Felicia banks in a few minutes, something that originally took our online character an entire heist setup. Faber realized our capabilities and realized we could be a threat to him and his business if we turned on him. So we planted Clifford into our AI and disguised it as another program so we could listen in on our characters' conversations and watch our every move. After all, Rockstar did describe our AI as always listening. But what do you think? Is our AI Clifford? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video, and I'll see you all in the next one. See ya.